Okay, masters athletes, Ample Sports Track and Field Team, UNC Track and Field. We are going to discuss today a topic I really haven't discussed on these training videos. I kind of discussed it in person, with some, but one of the book, I study a lot. My background is in exercise science at Ohio State University, and that's where I went to Ohio State University and studied. Was on the sports medicine team there. That's after I played football and for a season. Then I just said, okay, I'm going to go into this now because I don't see my future in that. And so part of my involvement is working with the doctors, working with the other trainers, and in particular the strength coach. And one of the books that this Ralph Mann, he's a famous doctor that worked with pretty much every Olympian, a track Olympian you can name. And so he has like a book, and I read it's like a heavy physics and mechanics book. It's famous. It's like a new edition, updated edition. But anyway, it has it's got like all mechanics in there and foot strike and angles and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of what we were, taught, in school, and I just heard about it all the time, so I just went back to reading it as of late, several months ago. And one chapter hit me about sprint performance, and it's like entire race, the body weight issue. And it says, body weight is a tough issue to address in our society. In fact, many collegiate coaches have been expressly forbidden to broach the subject with their athletes, and even professional coaches find it difficult to address. In sports science, however, weight is simply another performance variable to investigate. There are two situations where the issue becomes a major problem. If you're overweight or you're too bulked up. Now, as an example, the more weight you have on, the more vertical force is needed to maintain that air time. So, for every pound you have on, the more force is needed to maintain that same pace, which is hard to just keep adding generated force, because that's going to come from the muscles and training the muscles explosively. As an example, they took they took an athlete, and he had a stride rate of 4.6, and it went to 4.37 steps per second because he gained 10 pounds. That dropped his performance from world record level to that of a poor quality athlete, simply due to the realization that the sprinter's added body weight did not contribute to their ability to generate force. So excess weight doesn't help you generate force. It just helps you slow force down. Then even muscle, which is typically not the problem, but if, let's say you're a bodybuilder, you're not 4% body fat, all that muscle, doesn't mean you're going to be fast, because now you got to carry 240 pounds of muscle to try to go fast. You're most likely going to lose to a 165-pound male sprinter. So your ability to generate force, the further down the track to get maximum velocity, comes from being as efficient as possible. So this, and every pound helps. Every pound allows you to not have to generate as much force to go as fast. Now, when we get into the diet, which is a huge part of it, because that's probably 70% of it, of getting your weight under control to the proper performance levels. I've seen people say, I'm eating healthy, which by and large, most people that I have and am around are healthy eaters. We have very few junk food bingers, fast food bingers, whatever. That's kind of like in the past, like, especially as a master's athlete, you shouldn't be struggling with fast food and junk food and be extremely overweight. Because, like they say, you rarely see an obese 70-year-old. So the more you get over 40, the less and less you should be overweight, because your appetite actually calms down, and you've already had all that stuff, so you start tiring of it, and it's not healthy. But still, we have weight to lose. We're just talking about extreme amounts of weight. Well, what I find is, because since most people eat healthy, a lot of it is that people don't understand it's all about an insulin management game. And I work with a doctor, I do his marketing, that specializes in weight loss and insulin management and hormones. So I'm very familiar with this. And every time you eat, you turn your insulin on. Insulin is an IGF, it's a growth factor hormone. It grows things. So even when you eat healthy, you're turning your insulin on. And it's growing cells. It's growing muscle cells, it's growing cells in your body. So if you take somebody that's eating 6-7 times a day, healthy, that's 6-7 times their insulin is being turned on. So their weight will be down, because if they're eating really healthy, small portions. But you notice that it's not slowing down their aging. So that's why you notice a lot of people in USA Track and Field Masters, you'll go, wow, their body looks great, but they look older. You're like, wow, because they still have a lot of insulin in their bloodstream. Now, where the problem comes is if you're eating high insulin foods, even like the fruits, too many healthy sweet potatoes, stuff like that. You're eating too many insulin producing foods, and that insulin is now storing fat. So now you got a problem there. Or you're eating late, so you're going to store more fat because you're eating late before bed. All these kind of factors. And then this interferes with recovery, because you need to make sure your nutrition's right so you recover faster, which is a big issue with masters athletes. So it's going to heal you way faster. So the best strategy that I follow is, one, everything is built around the protein. So then I go, how many grams of protein do I need per day? You typically need 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight, not overall body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds and you have 10% body fat, so you have 190 pounds of muscle. 180 pounds of muscle. You eat 180 grams of protein, not 200 grams of protein. And you get that in every day. Once you get your protein in, you start not even having an appetite for the carbs and the fat, because it's filling you up so much, the protein. But you still want to monitor your carbs. You want to keep your carbs from going too far. So you keep your carbs in the 100 carb range, 50, 75, 100 carb range, especially with your training. You eat those carbs around training. Now you're not just storing those carbs as fat. And then you want to keep your fat moderate. which basically is a lot of times in your meats already, and your eggs, and the foods like that. You keep those in range, so you're in a slight, at least a slight deficit on your overall calories from your basal metabolic rate, which for men it's your body weight times 10. For women it's your body weight times 10. For men it's your body weight times 10 plus half of that body weight. Yeah. So you keep it there. Now, typically people's basal metabolic rate is lower than that figure because over the years, a lot of people damage their metabolism, so it's lower. So I go on the conservative side below that, but that gives you a ballpark. So insulin management and get protein first so your healing happens faster, and reduce the frequency of your meals. I would do 3 meals max. I keep them in a shorter window. Because some people eat, let's say, you have the same 3 meals, and say it's 1,400 calories a meal. You eat those 1,400 calories over 12 hours. So your insulin is working for 12 hours. You take those same 1,400 calories, and if you eat them within 8 hours, you reduce your insulin storage a lot, because it's 4 hours less that you're storing that you're pushing insulin in your body. So these are the details of what can help you actually speed up your fat loss and your weight loss. It's really fat loss, and improve your athletic performance. And so reduce frequency of the meals down to 3. Watch your drinks, because drinks can shoot your insulin up really high. A lot of people don't count them. A little piece of candy, that'll shoot it up. Everything counts on what's turning insulin on. You get the frequency improved, you center it around protein, lean quality protein, your healing will go up, and you'll start losing weight, and your body fat will go down. Until next time, this is Coach Todd.